Ava, where are you? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm too close to the camera. My bulging muscles got in the way. Excuse me. Ava, we miss you. We hope that you're doing all right. Make sure that you watch the entire video, and if you have any questions, please let us know. Okay, so for the past 2 days, we've been doing compound inequalities. We're going to need these. That marker fell. I'm not going to use it. Great. Here we go. So this is an OR. When we have an OR inequality, what should happen? When we graph it, what should happen? They should go apart. Okay? OR means they should go apart. So I'm solving this one. Find the balance point. Add 5 to both sides. That leaves me 7v is greater than or equal to 70. Divide by 7. 7v is multiplication. We divide. V then is greater than or equal to 10. Okay, there's 1. Or add 2, add 2. That leaves me negative 3v is greater than or equal to 0. What do I do with this negative 3v? Divide both sides by negative 3. But when I divide by a negative, we flip the inequality. So I have 0, I have 10. Less than or equal to 0, greater than or equal to 10. What questions do we have on that one? Relatively easy. Relatively easy. This one, though, on the other hand, isn't as easy because this isn't an and. Looking at it just like this doesn't help me. I'm going to want to rewrite this. So I've got two different inequalities. I've got 3x plus 2 is greater than or equal to negative 7. And you might say, Mr. H, how'd you get greater than or equal to? Well, because I took this whole thing and flipped it, the entire thing flips. So now I subtract 2. That leaves me 3x is greater than or equal to 9. Negative 9 divided by 3. X is greater than or equal to negative 3. Over here, I can just solve it. Okay, because I've kind of put this is on a different one. Subtract 2 leaves me 3x is less than positive 9. Divide by 3, x is less than 3. So when I write the inequality, though, the x needs to be in the middle. For ands, we want one inequality. For ands, we want one inequality. When I have a quiz and we're doing ands on inequalities, we want it in the middle. So I'm going to flip this whole thing. Negative 3 less than or equal to x less than 3. Notice when we are doing ands, the inequality sign should be facing one direction. If they're not, you've done something wrong. But I'm going to use these two to graph. This makes it hard to graph. So I have negative 3. I have positive 3. Greater than or equal to negative 3. Less than or equal to 3. Uh-oh. Remember, we're only looking for the overlaps. It's the stuff in the middle. What questions do y'all have? Anybody? Who got those both right? Nice. Who got one of those right? Nice. Who needs to see more of these? Do we need to do more practice on these? We'll keep doing them as warm-ups. Here's my plan. On Friday, instead of a warm-up, you'll have like a 3-question quiz on compound inequalities. Ava, did you hear that? So on Friday, instead of a warm-up, you will have a 3-question quiz on inequalities. It won't be like a 40-point. It might be like a 15-pointer. Each one's 5 points or 6 points or something. Okay? So does that sound fair to everybody? We're not going to spend a whole review day. Everybody good? Ava, you don't get a choice. Should have been here. Just saying. Okay. Everybody all right? William, you all right? Yeah. Do you need something? Because I don't know what I could do. I have of my favorite things. Do you want blue, yellow, orange, pink, purple, or green? Blue. I know. This is a fuzzy neon glow stick. You can make it, there's a smile! You can make it into a bracelet, a moustache. You can wear it like this. Oh. But this is yours.
Thank
You're welcome. You put this out there for me, I know. Thank you.
you. Yeah. Oh,
It is fun, isn't it? You were smiling. Mr. H wins. I win the game. I win the game. Yay! Don't be jealous, Lydia. Don't be. Maybe someday you'll earn a fuzzy neon glow stick. Okay, here we go. Now the rule is you have to say that forever. You're never allowed to lose it, ever. It would break my heart if you lost my only gift that I've given you, besides the gift of mathematics. And my tears. What?
Does it actually flow?
I mean, no, it's a pipe cleaner.
I was gonna say.
No, it's a pipe cleaner, but it's fuzzy. Okay, here we go. So we are doing section 1.8. Absolute value equations. Absolute value. Thing number one that we need to know is the distance from 0. And I think we've talked about absolute value before. Yes? So those are two important things. It's the distance from 0, and it must be positive. Okay? This says the absolute value of x plus 7 equals 4. When we do absolute values, the first thing we need to check is the absolute value isolated on the left-hand side, which means is the absolute value by itself. Is there any other numbers or anything else? No, it's all in the absolute value. Yay. Number 2, if it's isolated, is this side positive? If this was a -4, there is nothing that I can do inside and find the absolute value and get a negative. Right? Because absolute value must be positive. So when we see this, we immediately say, hey, there are two different equations every single time. There will be the x plus 7 equals 4 and the x plus 7 equals, and then you have to make the entire other side the opposite. Well, how do we make it the opposite? By multiplying by a -1. In this case, if it's a +4, it becomes a -4. And we solve both. We subtract 7 from both sides. X equals -3, subtract 7, x equals -11. Then you have to you must check. What do I mean by saying you must check? You must substitute them back into, you must substitute them back into the original. So we have x plus 7 equals 4. So version 1 is -3 plus 7 equals 4. And version 2 is back into the original, -11 plus 7 equals 4. Well, that's the absolute value of 4 equals 4? Yep. This is the absolute value of -4 equals 4. Is the absolute value of -4 4? The absolute value of -4 is 4. These answers both check out correctly. Okay? You will always have two equations when you do absolute values. You will always do two equations when you have absolute values. You can also say x equals -3, comma 11. Those would be fine too if you want to write it as 1, or you can write it as 2. I will normally write it as 2. Okay? Question so far? May I erase this example? Yes? Okay. Now, could it get harder? Yeah, it can get a lot harder. We're going to keep it relatively simple today. Let's go example 2. 2, absolute value of x minus 3, absolute value minus 4 equals 8. So let's start on a new page so you can copy this down. Okay, my question is the absolute value isolated? Is there stuff on the side with the absolute value? Oh yeah. Okay. So we are going to, the absolute value, even though there's an x here, here's how I want you to think about this. We're isolating this. This whole thing needs to get by itself. So we do it the same way that we would do an equation. We find the balance point. What would we do first? Because this is saying 2 times the absolute value minus 4.
Distribute.
Well, we're not going to distribute. Not going to distribute. We're trying to isolate this. This is like saying 2x minus 4. So we have a positive 4. We move the adding and subtracting first. We add 4 first. That leaves me 2. Absolute value of x minus 3 equals 12. A 2 next to a grouping symbol means, like you said, multiplication. What's the inverse of multiplication? So we're going to divide both sides by 2. So now I have absolute value of x minus 3 equals 6. Shoo! Now, is my absolute value isolated? Yes. So we break it off. We say x minus 3 equals 6. And we say x minus 3 equals what?
-6.
Very good, -6. Add 3. X equals 9, so far so good. Add 3. X equals -3. So I've solved. Am I done? No, because we need to go back to the original to see if it works. So we're going to say 2, absolute value of -3 minus 3 minus 4 equals 8. And 2, absolute value of 9 minus 3 minus 4 equals 8. Okay, so grouping symbols gives me 2, absolute value of -6 minus 4 equals 8. So that's 2 times 6 after I do the absolute value, minus 4 equals 8. That's 12 minus 4, which equals 8. 8 equals 8. Woo woo! So this one works out. This one is 2, 6 minus 4 equals 8. That's 12 minus 4 equals 8. That's 8 equals 8. Woo woo! 9 works. Okay. Now, why do we have to check? Because there are things called extraneous solutions. Extraneous means, yes, it's a solution. No, it does not give us a correct answer. It's a solution that gives us a wrong answer, which is kind of funny, right? We solved it correctly, but you're telling me that it's not correct? I'm saying it doesn't work. It might be correct, but it doesn't work in the actual application. So, Lydia, let me know when you're done. Oh gosh, lots going on. Okay. Lydia, you good? William? Patrick? Okay. Do you guys think that you can try one together? Like the three of you talking it over, can you guys try one together?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to hear you guys talking. Here's what I want. I want you guys to start by working on your own. And then I want to hear you guys working together. Sound good? Woo woo! Ava, I talked to you a lot on the video.
Oh, joy.
It may or may not start with me flexing.
Great.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Do you need this?
Yes, give me a second. Let's go. So here's example 2. Let's go -2, 3x plus 2 equals,
Oh, he's here. Girl. He asked me yesterday.
okay.
So. Just don't look at that. Don't.
Too late, I did.
Oh, joy. Am I just getting picked on today?
No. Ava, I don't pick on you at all, ever. Why would I do that?
Okay.
I don't know if I can use Tori.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the problem. I want to hear you guys talking. Let's try it. So, there's a -2 directly up against grouping symbols.
Okay.
So we're not adding, what do we have to do? Can we, remember this is like saying, the whole grouping, that whole absolute value is like an x. You don't distribute, we're not doing anything inside of it. So it's -2 times that x. So look at the previous example. What do we do to get rid of that negative or that number right next to the grouping symbol?
Divide it. Okay. So you would divide.
Oh, hold on. That's wrong. Wait. We're not supposed to get decimals. You're right. I was thinking of the next step. This should be, there we go. Now try. Sorry, Mr. Listen,
Mr. H.
I've told you that it was a rough day. You missed me crying, Ava.
You actually cried. Oh wow. I
So,
missed it.
yes. I couldn't make that. Wait a minute. Woo woo! There is no brace on that knee. God is good.
Maybe we'll see.
Why you don't have a brace? What do you mean we'll see? You don't have a brace.
No.
I can see it.
No, my braces in my car, so I'm trying to do half days without my brace on and see what
Is that what they said?
Yep.
Good. Okay.
But I'm still slow walker.
Ava, I'm going to say this as nice as I can.
Yes.
That doesn't surprise me.
Okay. You know what?
Divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
I know.
Okay.
You're going to need to watch the video when it's posted. Get some help if you need it. Okay, so I'm only doing the first step. What do we have to do to isolate the absolute value? Divide by? We're dividing both sides by negative 2. That leaves me the absolute value of 3x minus 2 equals 7. Now break it apart and go. So we are in, go ahead, open your book to page. Okay, hop along. I'll bring you a book and you're going to open the book.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so we're doing absolute value equations. Okay, so what's happening is, let's start up here. Okay, you have this absolute value. What we're doing is we're breaking it apart into 2 equations. Absolute values, distance from 0, which means they're always positive.
Okay.
So
3x minus
once
2
the
equals
absolute value is isolated,
Yeah.
we split it up to x plus 5 equals that number,
Okay.
and then we multiply the whole other side by negative 1.
Okay.
So that's x plus 5 equals negative 9. 9 times negative, then you solve 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Seems
So,
pretty
What we've done is, we've now isolated the absolute value. Now you break it apart, and that's where you're going to have one equaling 7 and one equaling
something.
negative 7.
Maybe so.
It's always the opposite of
Okay.
the whole side.
Okay.
But you have to know how. You're right. You also missed fuzzy neon glow sticks. William has a fuzzy neon glow stick. Does he got?
Fuzzy young.
Fuzzy neon glows.
Wow, guys.
You missed a lot today. I can't help that.
Wow. Dang. So depressing.
Also, Friday, instead of a warm-up, we will be having a 3-question quiz on the absolute value inequalities.
So this.
No, not the absolute value, the compound inequalities. What we've been working on.
So what the sheet was.
What the sheet was and what our warm-up was and what I'll be doing as warm-ups from here on out.
If it was what the sheet was. it would be
Nice, good. Okay, so here we go. We've isolated the absolute value. From there, we split it up. So we have 3x minus 2 equals the original. Then we have 3x minus 2. We take this whole thing, multiply it by negative 1. Gives me negative 7. Now I'm solving. Add 2. That gives me 3x equals 9. Divide by 3. X equals 3. There's one answer. Add 2. Uh-oh, Mr. H. Gives me 3x equals negative 5. Divide by 3. X equals negative 5/3. And this is why it's going to be very important that you guys have those calculators. Because now we're going to substitute it back in. So the original was negative 2. 3x minus 2 equals negative 14. You have to check to make sure that you don't have extraneous solutions. Extraneous, again, means we were able to solve it, but it doesn't work when we actually plug it back in. So negative 2, the absolute value of 3, multiplied by 3 minus 2 equals negative 14. So inside that grouping symbol, I have 9 minus 2, which is 7, equals negative 14. Well, the absolute value of 7 is 7, so negative 2 times 7 is negative 14, equals negative 14, which means 3 works. Negative 5/3, so now my second one, so this is 1, here's 2. Negative 2, parenthesis, 3 times negative 5/3 minus 2 equals negative 14. This gives me negative 2, 3 times 3, so this is going to be negative 5 minus 2 equals negative 14. This gives me negative 2, negative 7 equals negative 14. Absolute value of negative 7 is 7, so 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Oh, that works. So both of these work, but fractions are harder in this calculator. If you had the real calculator, it would be easy just to substitute in. Okay, what questions do we have? I see the look of confusion, so what questions do we have? Right now, I'm good if you can just get this portion. We'll keep working on setting them in, but extraneous again means you might get it, but it doesn't give me the same answer. Okay, and it does not work. We have one more example before I let you guys work on homework. I don't know what time this class is done. I'm out of it today and I apologize. What time? Oh, okay, well, good. So let's do this last one. May I? A nice easy one, you ready? Example 4. 5 x minus 2 plus 8 equals 3. Okay? Write it down, and then we're going to do this together. Because you're going to see, man, Mr. H, this is really easy. Yep. This one really is easy. Okay, write it down, let's do it together. So, what I've been trying to get you guys to understand is the absolute value is like an x. That whole thing is like an x, so just think that this is saying 5x plus 8. How do we isolate the x? What do we do first? Subtract 8 from both sides. That gives me 5 times the absolute value of x minus 2 equals negative 5. Now what? Both sides by 5. That leaves me the absolute value of x minus 2 equals negative 1. Absolutely not. We're stopping. In any sense, can an absolute value equal a negative? Absolute value must be positive. If we've isolated the absolute value and the other side is negative, you should double check to make sure you did it correctly. But if it's not, stop. Because there is no solution that will actually work. And it really should be no real solution. Okay, because as you get in higher maths, we can make it work. It's just made up stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, no real solution. Because the absolute value is isolated, this is negative. We can't have an absolute value equaling a negative. Everybody with me? Okay, homework. You are going to get some fractions. Let's go. Homework. Page 42. Let's go today, numbers 14 through 22, the even. So it's not very many. It's 5 problems because it is Wednesday. I don't want you to have very much. I'm telling you that there is an extraneous solution in there, which means you're going to get an answer and then it's not going to work. Okay? Everybody with me? Any questions?